More could be accomplished if we redesign and distribute public readiness information that uses research-based evidence about how to make campaigns effective than something else. Step 2, stop doing things that don't work. Don't try to motivate people with increased risk probabilities or color codes to convince them they're at risk. Increased probabilities may be useful for some things, for example, motivating governments or corporations or etc., but not people in their homes. Perceived risk does not motivate or predict public readiness action taking. Step 3, use multiple information sources. Provide information from as many different sources as possible. And forgive me for smiling, but you have no idea how pleased I am to be able to say this to you. No, regardless of who you are, you alone can't provide very effective public information. You need partners to be really effective with your customers. The more partners, the more sources. The more sources, the more the public does. Step 4, brand the message. Convince groups to stop providing the public with unique messages. Work with other information providers so everyone tells the public the same thing. Branded public readiness messages work best. And I had the coincidence of getting to sit right next to Ellis Stanley on the plane ride here from LA. And every time I sit next to Ellis, I get another thing I can use for the rest of my life. And the next time you see this slide, you'll see it say, we need to brand the message, not the messenger. Step 5, that's what I got from Ellis on the plane. Use multiple information channels. Distribute the same information over different and diverse channels. People do more when they get the same information different ways. Communicate over the long haul. It's better to communicate over time and not just for a day or a week. People do more after receiving the same message many times. And it's best if communication is sustained over extended periods of time as an ongoing process that doesn't end. Step 7, focus provided information on actions. The most effective thing to tell people is exactly what to do to get ready and where to find out more information about how to do it. For example, in a what to do brochure. Now, it's just coincidental that I'm using the Southern California version of Roots, but that's because I'm from Southern California. Step 8, talk about consequence reduction. Provide information about how actions reduce losses. People are more likely to take readiness actions based on information about how those actions cut losses in case something happens. Step 9, position cues for people to see. Get public readiness out of the closet and into the streets. People are more likely to take actions if they see others doing it. Monkey see, monkey do applies. By the way, we've known that in social psychology since 1898. And here, we got paid handsomely to rediscover it once again. And step 10, target talking. Encourage people to talk about getting ready with each other. People are more likely to do something if they think doing it's their own idea. And anyone who's ever raised teenagers knows that. That comes from talking about it with others. Use innovative ways to get people talking about readiness actions amongst themselves. Here's an example. Let's talk about our faults. This came into existence because I successfully contaminated Lucy Jones. Part of the way. I like the let's talk about part, but it should be what to do about our faults, not our faults. But I'll take any progress I can get, and I'm still working on it. And last, evaluate. Measure your starting place and get a baseline of public readiness. Measure change. Is public readiness changing over time? Evaluate the effectiveness of your program. Which of your information campaign components work and don't work? And fine-tune your program and revise the information that you're providing based on your findings. And a survey can do that. Here are the steps summarized. Many sources and channels, and partners with each other, with someone in charge. So it's not helter-skelter. And it's organized into an ongoing mega campaign. Same message, branding, over time for the long haul, talking about what people should do to get ready and how those steps will cut their losses, and encouraging them to talk about it with other people and position cues for them to see in their environment, informed by social science. Here's a summary of the summary. If you want a one-sentence description, this, by the way, I got from Ellis Stanley a year ago. If you want it to really, oh, I get it, Dennis, if you want it to really work, you got to sell it the way they sell Coca-Cola. The answer is yes. So let me ask a question. How old were you when you heard your first ad for Coca-Cola? Somebody yell out real quick. 4. Okay. How many days ago was it when you heard your last ad for Coca-Cola? Somebody yell out. Yesterday. How many did you hear in between? What does Coca-Cola know that you don't about human beings? Do you think they're really throwing all that money down a black hole? Postscript 1. Everything doesn't have to say everything. You can refer, people have actually tried to cram earthquake preparedness, lock, stock, and barrel on a fast food placemat. You can refer them to other places to find out more, and in fact, them seeking additional information is one of the things that triggers them actually doing it. Postscript 2. It's not just about cramming more information into people's heads. It's also about taking wrong information out, particularly information that's a barrier to them taking action. They don't know they believe myths. They think what they believe is true. I live by Palm Springs in Rancho Mirage. We just finished a survey in Rancho Mirage. 42% of the residents of my city believe where they should go when the ground starts shaking is a door jam. 17% think they should run outside, and 14% think they should get in the triangle of life. 74% of the people I live with are going to do the wrong thing when the ground starts shaking in the biggest earthquake our state has ever had. You think I'm going to have fun telling the city that? I am. Postscript 3. Other strategies may be needed for low-resource people. Pointing out no-cost actions, working with NGOs to provide what people who couldn't possibly stockpile anything are going to need after an event, etc. And postscript 4. We didn't cover everything. We covered the process to motivate public readiness. We only briefly touched on content, and we certainly didn't talk about the style of information like format and colors and that sort of thing.